Sure, he's just coming in from work.
Actually, she's not going to watch now.
Oh, really?
I just spoke to her a little while
Okay,
ago,
just,
and Joe is not gonna make it to me.
yeah, that's,
We are on the record, Mr. Chairman.
in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, please note the following: all Bernardsville Borough Planning Board meetings will be held in person at the meeting hall on the second floor of the Bernardsville Municipal Building at 166 Minebrook Road. Meetings will be live streamed on YouTube with no opportunity on YouTube for public comment. Members of the public wishing to offer comments or ask questions will be required to attend the meetings in person. Effective February 12, 2026, meetings will begin at 7 p.m. YouTube live stream access for all meetings is YouTube at Bernardsville Borough/streams. This link will also be available on the agenda for each meeting, which is posted on the Borough website, bernardsvilleborough.org, and on the Borough Hall Public Bulletin Board at least 48 hours prior to meetings. It might be bernardsvilleborough.gov now. It is.
It is.
And make a note.
Well, wait, but not on the YouTube, it isn't.
It's a website,
Oh, what, okay,
so.
okay.
Notice of these changes has also been emailed to the Bernardsville News and the Courier News by posting a copy on the Borough website and by filing a copy with the municipal clerk all on January 22nd, 2026. It's the intention of the board not to continue any matter past 11 p.m. at any regular or special meeting of the board unless a motion is passed by the members then present to extend to a later specified cutoff time, and same shall be announced at the opening of each meeting. In addition, the board does not intend to begin a new hearing after 10 p.m. We'll begin testimony at 30 p.m. Any hearing conducted by the board is a quasi judicial proceeding. Any questions or comments must be limited to issues that are relevant to what the board may legally consider in reaching a decision. The quorum appropriate to a judicial hearing must be maintained at all times. Roll call.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Mr. DeMarco is absent, Ms. Geller is absent, Mr. Graham,
Yes, here.
Mr. Malia,
Here.
Mr. Morrison,
Here.
Mr. Sasso,
And present.
Mr. Trainer,
Here.
and Mr. Villazano.
Here.
You have a quorum.
No, not there are meetings.
Old Jack Hughes was here.
No. Meeting minutes,
I didn't upload them,
okay,
my apologies.
no problem. Communications none. No visitors related to the agenda, see new business, we have to review and approve the bills. Anything you need to tell us about the bills, Denise?
So the update on the bills, I did speak with, Borough Administrator Nancy Malul, and she agreed that the bills pertaining to the Rushman Farm issue should go to the Board of Adjustment escrow
Okay.
for that,
Good.
matter.
So we kind of left that, as it was, right?
Yes, but we didn't, so yeah, so those
But now-
invoices, were corrected
Okay.
and redone, and the first one, on the list for the non-escrow, the planning board general, that is a corrected invoice,
Okay.
less all of the other items.
The other stuff,
Yes.
okay. Residual invoice essentially, okay.
Correct.
Council's waiting patiently and happy to do so.
Okay. That's money. Anything, any comments? Take a motion. Make a motion to approve the bills. Second.
I'm sorry, who's second? Thank you.
Roll call,
Mr. Graham,
yes.
Mr. Malia,
Yes.
Mr. Morrison.
Yes.
Mr. Sasso,
Yes.
Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
and Mr. Villazano.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
Okay, so we have consistency, reviews here basically. Fourth round.
The first one, I don't know if you saw it, the council accepted the recommendations of the planning board to change to, I'll say, clarify the measurement of height particularly on the overlay zone on Church Street. So that basically, the exact range in front of me, that more or less says that the elevation will be measured from the lowest point along 202.
Is that in 2041?
It's in the first one, I believe, 2041, which is which are the ordinances, with the overlay zones.
The red line?
It's the lowest elevation along the front yard setback of the primary street, which for the avoidance of doubt is.
Yeah, it just needed to be in there explicitly, not just that was the point. It has to say 202 in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Which you did. Any other comments?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if I may just, as we know, with the master plan consistency review, not a public hearing, but on referral from the governing body. So we do have a memo from the baby, and she can opine for the benefit of the board, as the consistency of that ordinance with the master plan. We have a resolution, that we always do. This one's a little longer than usual because the references are last stab at the review. Which led to the recommendation, which was such a good recommendation that it went right into the reintroduced amended version. So we can go right, as always, to adopting the resolution, finding the ordinance to be not inconsistent with the master plan. But I'm getting ahead of my skis because I'm the opening act, our main attraction is the fate.
Exactly what I was.
So I see it. Where are you at now? I think I made it to the big stage. But you did a great.
You already deemed it consistent 2 weeks ago, and this has clarity to the prior version, so I believe that it is consistent.
You concur with the motion, second roll call vote to adopt the resolution provided for this evening for this particular ordinance 2026-2041.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution, finding that amended ordinance 2026-2041 is consistent with master plan.
Second, Sasso.
Thank you. Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Malia,
Yes.
Mr. Morrison,
Yes.
Mr. Sasso,
Yes.
Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
and Mr. Villappiano.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay, so great. Then the next one's 204-3.
The next one's a little deja vu all over again as well, because this one is Jack did such a wonderful job of quickly introducing the amended version of the model affordable housing ordinance, and ordinance, or at least it was based on that. But then a few weeks later, they came out with another iteration, the newest of the new amended version. So prudent, as always, he the governing body introduced the newest version. Hopefully they've stopped for a while, coming out with iterations. What's that?
But they have no longer have this version. The website, they have no version.
No, I don't. But that's what happens when.
So he snatched the model, then.
It's a bit, I will say I don't know if you took a look at it, it's a pretty long, it's a lot of, it sort of reiterates what the statute says, but. To the conversation last meeting about what do you do if it's, it's an uneven number, it's like, you have to combine like 3.3 affordable housing units.
Fractional units.
You can now, I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have the option of either, if it's above 0.5, you round up. Below 0.5, they can either the developer can either round up and provide an additional unit, or they have to pay, the percentage. If it's like 0.3, they would pay 0.3 of whatever the development fee is for like one of full miles.
Yeah, I think the payment of the fractional unit,
Yeah,
is how it's been, and, I have situations in other towns where we have to calculate it.
And the fractional unit is determined, I mean, it's the council, right, that determines the.
I think,
Cost of
who
fractional,
determines?
the value?
Oh, the value I think is set by statute, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
one unit is like, right now, I think it's like 225,000 or something like that.
So
Or
you
maybe it's
just
less.
do the math. Yeah.
It's like it's somewhere between like 175 and 225.
They either build, I guess, the extra unit, not extra unit, but they round that the whole unit, thank you, or they do a payment in lieu, so to speak, or bigger of the fractional unit.
Yeah, so.
So the value is set by statute, and then that is there and the guidance unless is the council allowed to, forgo the, co amount, I mean, the affordable housing amount, and like Palmer was,
Or
or.
you do a payment in lieu of construction.
Yeah,
I'm trying to they'll allow that
does the
still.
developer agreement still have that?
I think in connection with a redevelopment agreement, you can do that.
Well,
So,
because that's outside.
Outside of the ordinance, so this would just be a straight up zoning issue, if someone comes in.
Okay, so this may not even apply to.
Correct.
Okay, so, like, so if the council does an area need of redevelopment, then there's a redeveloper agreement, and then the redeveloper agreement is its own zoning essentially,
Mhm.
and, should essentially override the statutory amounts.
Some of the local redevelopment house and law that puts municipal energy.
Well, just, what seems like that could happen, so this have to be aware, right, I suppose, yes.
In any event, so that,
Okay.
this is, and it is of course the administrative regulation for collection and payment of, development fees and the administration of the affordable housing obligation. It's not tied to any particular, potential inclusionary site or anything.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't differ from your previous affordable housing regulation a whole lot. I mean, the main changes that the DCA and Fair Share Housing Center argued about were the definitions. And the slight tweaks that Fair Share wanted to the definitions of things. And the options surrounding, the options of fines and imprisonment, some of them.
Is this also where the 15 went to 20?
So
Universal?
that's the mandatory set aside, and that's not included in here. This includes development fee.
No, but I thought this,
Embrace.
it includes, because we, 20% regardless of rental or.
Oh, yeah, that is a change in the foreground versus.
From what it would have been.
Right.
Okay, any other?
And, so the opinion.
That is the implementing tool that your housing plan already stated that you've already adopted 2 weeks ago. And so I believe that this is consistent with the.
So it's not inconsistent with the master plan.
I think we might even gone, if we were bold, I think we went right to the affirmative consistent. Nothing wrong with that. You can clear the bar. By quite a bit if you want, and here we did it with consistency, perfectly consistent. Same thing, it's a resolution, you can motion second roll call vote. If you concur, or even if you don't concur with the opinion of your plan, I'll stick the word not in there. If you don't concur.
Whatever the right word, but one of the level negative side.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that the board approve the resolution. Confirming that ordinance 2026-2043 is consistent with the master plan.
Second,
So,
Thank you. Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Malio,
yes.
Mr. Morrison,
Yes.
Mr. Sasso,
yes.
Mr. Trainer,
Yes.
and Mr. Delapiano.
Yeah.
Motion carries.
It's
Do we,
all back to the governing body.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
March 16 deadline.
I think we have a special meeting Monday night to
This time.
Yep,
Okay.
I was asking. Special meeting Monday night, literally it should be 5 minutes, it's just a. It's just a. That's true, it is an open, It is an open meeting, but, there's nothing else on other than what these two ordinances.
Oh,
No resolutions, right? For adoption?
No.
Okay, no hearings. So we have, discussion and review item was the recreation and open space master plan, so.
Yeah, I put that on before I knew whether or not we were gonna have anything else to review. And then because I just didn't wanna leave it off in case we did. But I don't think we do yet.
You wanna, you're further along than I am in it, so you wanna give your initial comments?
Initial comments is, there's a lot of content. It's extremely difficult to follow. I read it page for page on the plane, this week. But was having a very difficult time to take away from it what the actual action plans were besides chapter 8 and chapter 9. I think if we rearrange the content, I'm not saying get rid of it, but there's a chapter regarding the surveys done with the town, which led to, that belongs in an appendix in the back. You need the so what of, hey, this is what we would like to do. And this is our action plan to get there, should be in the front, in my opinion. So you don't lose the reader, and then with reference points to the back. So I think it's a workable document, it just needs to be rearranged. Completely.
Yeah, there's a lot of redundancy too.
Yeah.
It tends to be which is sort of my intent, like, well, here's the summary, so they kind of drag stuff forward.
I think it's so cumbersome.
They say, read that.
It's so cumbersome that it almost defeats the purpose that people aren't gonna refer to it, like we were talking beforehand about. You know, the next park coming, as we heard on the council meeting tonight, is potentially the Nirvana park out here. And like, no one even looked at this plan, like, see, like, you know, is it consistent with that? Is there some good ideas in there that we can incorporate here? Because partially, because I think everybody like either doesn't know exists, or it's like they start
It
looking
was
at it.
presented like 4 years ago, so it's a different set of people anyway.
Yeah, and it's totally like, read the beginning of it, it's like all COVID, it's like heavy COVID discussion, so it should be cleaned up a little bit, and then as you said, like, I think rearranged, so.
And the other thing that I didn't realize in reading it myself until I plugged it into AI and asked it some specific questions, was it's supposed to be reviewed every single year.
Yeah.
Which, my understanding, if we haven't looked at it since 2021 or presented, it likely hasn't happened.
Right.
But that would take away or take care of a lot of the concerns about the sequencing and the tiering or what needs to be done. Like, for example, a lot of the stuff that's in there now has been completed already.
Yeah.
But completed in such a way that some of the other goals for some of the parks become more expensive or cumbersome.
Yes.
But if it was reviewed every year.
Well, that really should be the rec committee's job to review it every year and do most of the heavy lifting, and then just kick it over to the planning board.
Right.
And then we take a look at it and say, yeah, it's looking.
It doesn't actually have to be updated every year, but there's just saying review the thing. It's got capital plans and expectations. And I think that monetary stuff is a movie.
But I like your idea, I mean, if we put it up towards the front, the so what portion and the sequencing and tiering, with just a table that gets updated every year as we complete things. That provide a little bit more guidance and understanding for the public.
I think we have to, I agree with the concept of the survey and so forth, except you kind of have to gel out the overarching opinion of the survey. In other words, you have to extract that. If you're gonna put it in the back, stuff extract it. I mean, it was, okay, here are the top 5 things, you know, that people were asking for. Which was trails mostly,
It's like the town's still doing, I mean, I received a lot of surveys from the town regarding what they want in that year. Am I wrong?
In what?
What's important to them? And if I recall correctly, some of these surveys in the last year or two have been like, hey, what changes do you want in your town, which include parks?
They do these like, they started doing these flash surveys.
Right, yeah.
So they did one for this park, fine. But again, it should you know, like that's one data point, and it should still be consistent with. You know, this plan, which there was a lot of work, I mean, you did talk to a lot of people, and we did a lot of surveys and stuff like that, so. I don't think we should, you know, throw out that, it was throw out maybe in the bathwater.
Right.
But I think if we could just streamline it, get to the heart of it, make it a more workable document.
Again, so that people could read 15 pages in there.
Yeah.
They're okay, you know, they got the essence of what the
Yep,
strategy is.
yeah,
The other thing that, as you know, that it was that every time they get to a park, they say, well, the first thing is you need to do a master plan for the park. You know, it's even here, and that's interesting.
that seems like a little bit.
It's just system, yeah, what do you do, park charge? I guess Snowbine would be a good example.
Yeah, it is
of
good.
doing them, you know, like,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah.
But you're right, they really didn't, obviously didn't
Mhm.
look at the survey, and one of the. As an example, one of the misses is the no dog park,
Yep,
and we would write. A portion or a lot of it could be dog park, and they wouldn't have necessarily a parking issue because it's a. Quick thing, you know, as opposed to let's stay and have a picnic or something, so.
I think the other one was, I think it's like number one, there was the trails and that kind of stuff, which in terms of more well, then there was also like a. Performing, like a place for people to play music and kind of like almost like I pictured like a little tiny. Version of like an amphitheater, you know. An outdoor
Yeah,
venue where people, you know.
well, then they were aiming back to the 271, but then they said, don't do.
Hopefully, like, if you do that on Saturday though, like, this lot's not gonna be, you know, used much on Saturday, so you just have to like. Do it when the slots.
There is a sidewalk out in front of us, right? That goes in.
And we were just talking a couple weeks ago about looking into potentially if you could put parallel parking along 202
Oh, yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So you might be able to get like 15 or so parking spaces.
Depending on how
in the mall.
much surveyor.
Right. But yeah, that's important, parking and dog park, you know, more.
It was just one of the check boxes, it was like. You know, they had the list of all the different types of facilities and how many people, you know, you need one of these if you've got 10,000 people, right, you know. Okay, you should have, do we check the box or not, you know? One of the things that we didn't check the box on, which seemed to be easy, was the dog park. I always thought that personally that Morange Crest. Would be a reasonable dog.
That's a great idea. I every time I drive by there, I go, this feels like it could be better. So knowing that that's
Morange Crest on Mount Airy. As you come from the south into Bernardsville,
Right.
on the right-hand side is Moraine Crest Park.
There's
yes.
So,
It's like kids go with dirt bike, like with their dirt bikes back.
yeah, but then Public Works has been dismantling.
The one use.
But yeah, it could be that too, you know, it's just, if Public Works says, hell no, there are not gonna be bike trails there, then, well, what could there
You can
be?
use it for them.
It's really not a park, it's just open space.
It's a little forest, it's challenging into the strange.
Yeah, it's the forested bridges and stuff.
Here's where you.
No, we have to go on some streets. That literally no one was there except like teenage kids.
There's an entrance. Absolutely animal, it's almost like open space.
There's a couple, it was like,
Yeah.
I don't even know the names of the streets.
It's just part of it. It's exactly kind of what you're saying, someone should just look at that space and seriously, what you got the checkbox, what do we need? Oh, we have a dog park. Okay, what do we need to be able to implement that if you didn't want to do that at
That would be a great spot for it, because that is very. Wonderful.
Yeah. So, and it wouldn't need a whole lot of parking, I think that would be the other aspect of it, not that there isn't space. Not some trees, but anyway, what else? I mean, I found typos and stuff, but like through 502 instead of 525. There is a lot of the COVID stuff in there, and so if we're.
do we want to try to de-COVIDize it? That's what I started doing, it's relatively easy to
Yeah.
excise that stuff.
Yeah,
It's cause it's it'll be like a paragraph that just talks, so you just take out that paragraph, it still flows fine, it still makes sense.
without the explicit reference, it's still flows.
Yeah, so that's what I started doing, was like,
Okay.
I was just redlining it.
Technically, both you guys are, what have you done? Have you sorted? Redlining it on PDFs? You pretty imported into Words?
Yeah, I'm doing it on PDF.
I'm assuming you do.
And the other thing, I mean, I know there are, sometimes you can scan a page and it'll throw it into Word, give you the right fonts and stuff, but I didn't have time to go to Word yet. I know that if you
Yes,
get,
like mine just sort of looks like that. Like this is like all greens.
now are you in PDF?
This is a PDF.
Yeah,
So I don't know, I don't know what the most like.
we're gonna, hopefully you wanna get it into a PDF form, okay, just to get it on the web, right?
Can it be uploaded to an AI tool? And edit it from there, is that easy?
Yes.
There you go. See what I did?
I just, the mechanics of, we kind of have to figure that out,
Yeah.
because we will have to get it into a form that will changes.
Share the.
So we've had a long discussion on it.
No. It's proprietary,
Each like, hey,
yes.
Okay.
You're gonna the source document.
Or forums. So, anyway.
If it was a lot of work, it's like someone's gonna have to like type it all in or speak it into something, and you sit there and say, wow, should we just pay them and, you know, buy the source? But, it sounds like we have a way, but I know enough to rely on. Someone else to.
Okay, do you wanna like, start like reordering it, and then we can then incorporate my just more like red line, I mean, I'm not like adding anything, I'm literally like striking stuff that I think is like not relevant and. Is superfluous. So then I can just kick that over to you or whatever, I can just incorporate it in and you rearrange it, it works. What are you gonna do, right?
Working on it,
That call.
Copilot.
I have a pretty, I have a PDF. Not Adobe, I might be able to do it when I get home.
Open PDF or something.
Or, movie. It's more of a designer drafter's tool,
Oh,
it's pretty adept at converting PDFs to other formats.
Cool. I found one way to get it even out of Adobe was to, I think I mentioned this, was to highlight the section and then say translate. Like, don't translate it to English.
Yeah, translate.
And it's just, here it is, you can just cut and paste it right out, no problem. Like, oh, that's interesting, oops, that's one. But, so I didn't even have to translate it to Spanish and then back, you know, to just do it.
Yeah.
So, but,
Yeah, it can do it, it's the formatting's.
potentially a lot.
Keep playing with it.
I'll give it a shot too.
I'll give it a try to record and see that.
All right, cool. That's great.
I got an email inquiry this morning from, Rob Wilson from the
Yes.
state.
Yes,
Um,
and Sherry called me also.
yes, and she asked me, well, when she told me she wasn't gonna make it tonight, she asked me, and I guess there was a little. Well, the question was, is or should he be involved with what's happening now, or will he just be part of the presentation after the planning board kind of reworks the document and
I think we should take it, it's. Structurally, we're gonna try to restructure it. I told her I thought it would be best if we took the shot at. We even without talking about it. Took the shot at restructuring it and then gave it to him.
Yeah.
Said, what do you think? You know,
that's what I kind of
That's-
thought from the
that,
beginning, but I
that
didn't
was my
want, yeah.
impression that I let Sherry. That's what I thought would be the most efficient way.
Should probably communicate that to him.
Yeah, I told her that we could work together, that you would be apprised of, and she would be able to.
Yeah, I'll speak to her again and fill her in.
Mhm.
Well, and I think she said she was gonna watch this later,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah. Um. All right, the thing that I mentioned that keeps in mind in the structure guys is that there were things that the rec department so like de-valued or de-emphasized and we had to decide, well, they kind of shifted it out of the table. Do we have to have text for it? And there was the whole deal of was the text, which we discussed briefly, well, is the text just totally redundant in the table or not? But think about that.
I think if we're gonna like restructure it so that it's more of a strategic plan. And then it even mentions this like sort of annual review, and that can be sort of more of a tactical yearly plan. But the so we just take whatever the rec department did and just use that as like 2026 is like most recent.
Position, yeah, yeah. No, I just meant from the standpoint of the words.
Yeah.
And the redundancy.
We should take it out, yeah.
Well, just look,
Okay, yep.
all I'm saying is consciously, and if it means that we're gonna have to take words away from the words because they're going away, we may have to drop them into the center of the table. Okay, so just consider that as a function. We did earlier discuss on this, we discussed the survey and, there's an awful lot of stuff on, there's a whole section that seems, it is very boilerplate, you know, this is a national board. You know, here, genomics, no, demographics and look at that as a way of, should that just be in the back?
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah. I'm just thinking of those things, you know. I think so. It's up front, you know, these are the prior top 5 things, you can see the whole list of people, you know, that section.
I think the Bernardsville survey, the one that they did, which is a more robust version than just like the email surveys that go, and I think it is necessary, is illuminating, and it's also reassuring, I think, to the general public in the sense that I think that there's this talk track of like, you know, not listening to us, and it's like, no, there's a comprehensive survey, so everyone has a chance to review. So I agree, maybe it doesn't go in the front, but I think it's important.
Well, we're going to what he's saying too, if you start with an introductory section summarizing the whole thing, but you bring in all of those surveys plus the 20 survey. And just say, hey, it's consistent, these are the things that the public wants that.
Right. I think the only thing that I saw that's kind of radically changed, you brought it up actually, is that the drawing for 271 has like all these facilities in it, you know, it's like, here's where the auditorium is gonna be, and over here is gonna be all this stuff, and it's kind of like, wait a minute. They really pivoted on that, and.
What was that for?
271 Mine Grove. It was gonna be, that's where the amphitheater is gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I had the whole big page that laid everything out. And there's been work, but it's like, well, no, just don't. That's where a number of the things that we just said. We need to reconcile that, yeah, possible, you know, just one of the points to go through as you're trying to organize this is keep in mind that area. Just one thought when when they talk about an amphitheater, one of the things you can do, and I've seen it done in other towns, is a portable stage. You just do a trailer and I use rent too, but you can buy, a trailer, and it's got the covers and the lights and everything on it. You can take it anywhere. I'm a big fan of the portable stuff.
Stage.
Yeah, so It could start by renting one, but we could then, you know, plan ahead and say, maybe if we get enough activities planned and so forth, it's kind of. If you have something, they will come.
Yeah.
You could also consider it. When you do Nervine, think about access, like how would I get a portable stage in and out of it, you know, like. Because there's a tendency to kind of landlock it that way. Just,
You kind of have to, I mean, I sort of know what the topography is there, so you're kind of like having low, kind of near the stream. People sit on the hill, but yeah, you like how to get there, because it's gonna be probably muddy and.
well, there might be a reason to do what we say, like parking down a little bit lower along the, you know, if you were doing a stage, if you put it along the road, you know, facing and have it,
Yeah.
you know, then if you had access more than just this road, but, you know, something or some around or whatever, as part of the planning.
Firehouse parking lot that's up on the hill there.
Yeah,
It's a decent amount of space.
Yeah.
yeah, there was kind of testimony.
They're worried about the one on Boston Street.
Yeah, I'm worried about them parking, well, the one next door, and yeah.
But then there's the big one right across the street.
Across the street. So. Anything else, anyone else? To. Our planner, do you have anything you want our two guys to look at in that rec plan? Particularly?
I mean, we would be happy to provide recommendations if you want us to. We have been kind of.
Hands off.
Arms length,
Yeah.
specifically because we didn't write it ourselves,
Right.
so. But I mean, if that's something that you would like for us to do, we certainly be happy to do it, my only other thought is that if you need someone to do a lot of formatting, I know there are a lot of Bernards high school kids that need volunteer hours. And they,
That's
Yeah.
not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I just got a good word version.
right,
It just doesn't, you lose the pictures and all that.
Well, the environmental commission has 2 high school volunteers that sort of sit on that commission as sort of like informal. I think they're the head of the green team or something at the high school. So you just like give it to them and they can find somebody.
There's a town with the planning board has 2 junior members and they rotate high schools. I'm not suggesting that.
Good luck.
It's cute.
Let's come here.
Okay, so the key then is focus on the meat, guys, and then, and how do you get it? Which is already doing, you're all gonna have to see if there's something that magically does a great job, and. I think something really else, things are the same. I do agree, we tend to get lost in intermediate sections. I like, which I've referenced once, I like that chart that sort of said, this is like. How many of these you ought to have in a town of 8,000, like you should have this checkbox, yeah, we've got one.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, it's typically 1 for 10,000, but checkbox, that might have been like, or something. But I think that's helpful for a reader to see. What the check boxes are. You have what big, and I find it that one's enough, you know, in a town this size for a number of these things. Every park doesn't have to have, like one's enough, you know, and it helps. Shape that, you know, or, you know, so.
Burns Township's what, 4 times as big as us and they've got 1, so.
Now, what about this part of the meat is. We have a ton of space defined, but it's active parks and it's open space. And this is both, you know, parks and open space, and I didn't see. As you'd expect, much of anything on open space except. We have to deal with the inconsistency of Claremont 251 Claremont. and, Peter's track, you know, because the house is gone, and so they're just some easy edits there, for the most part. But do we wanna, what do we wanna say about open space? It's. Cause it gets religious in a way, you know, it's like, it's open space, don't do anything, you can put a sign on it that says it's open space, but don't do anything, but. On the other hand, one of the most important thing at the top are these trails. And so do we, like in Peter's track, we say, well, we really should, curate the trails well. You know, or we should have some trails through White Neck or these other open spaces, so it's kind of a strategy idea, and
There's also this sort of regional, when it comes to trails, and, you know, this idea of like connecting trails regionally. And, you know, I shouldn't call it a pipe dream, but the dream, the long-term dream would be to connect, you know, so you already have a nice connection on the other side of town going from essentially the polo grounds, like into like Patriots Path, all the way to Patriots Path, and you could literally take that go for, you know, 50 miles. And so it's more like connecting this side of town to Bar Hill, Westminster. So I do think for open space, there should be something along the lines of, and we talked to the, like last year when I was in the environmental commission about this, like. You just wanna have like, kind of like identified potential properties that. You know, could be available at some point, like, for example, one that's kind of obvious that anybody that's not too far from here, where everybody has their own. Like, and so you identify like, these are potential open space areas. That, you know, the town should keep an eye on and, you know, opportunistically, if they become available, or maybe even actively make an offer. And have some thinking and prioritization behind it, because you don't want to be like too opportunistic, or like one random track becomes available up in the mountain, and we're like, oh, let's buy it, it's open space, and then you deplete your funds. And then you know, it's like, great, but is anybody ever gonna like know what's up there or use it, or, you know, is it gonna have any appreciable benefit? So I think if you just keep it simple, it's like, you know, there should be a list of potential, you know, properties that.
or links, like.
And that can be linked to the part.
I'm not sure it's in here though, there's a lot here, it's in, you're saying, but.
Yeah,
But when you're structurally looking at it, see if we may need a paragraph or something.
Yes.
Saying what you said, essentially,
yeah,
which is.
and that could be even
Here's
too,
open space.
John Wilson, let the environmental commission run with that, just kind
It
of
could be.
give a blank and be like.
If you want it to be that way, then we could just task them with it.
So yeah, what we could do is we can put in brackets, like, you know, sort of what I just said.
Yes,
Couple of sentences, and then if they wanna,
A vision,
and they want, yes, exactly.
reaffirm the vision.
Yep,
Supported by the fact that people did want those trails in the surveys. And bring it to the fore, because. It may be there, just, I think it's hidden.
Yeah.
This whole thing is much more about facilities.
right,
And,
Does the borough's environmental commission or recreation committee ever confer with adjacent municipalities in terms of linking?
not those, as far as I know.
I think
not
there was
those
discussion.
committees. But there are like individuals, like on those commissions who like. Frequently talk to, you know, either at a county level, so a lot of this occurs at the county level too. So they have you know, they have people they know, like in the county level, who are. You know, they just kick these ideas around, and I think there are some rudimentary plans, like connection plans of like how these things could potentially connect.
well, even in the council, you guys are discussing in that area sidewalks. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, well. There should be that weight of someone saying, we need to link these things, and it sort of pushes you. To the implementation of sidewalks instead of saying, no, it's legal now, you know.
Yes.
It's county that. I think where you landed was if the county wants to pay the one that I think Nancy was gonna ask them to do.
Yeah. Yes.
Sidewalks.
Yes, we were going to request it, and usually the county says stuff like, well. you know, yes, and if you wanna do it now, you can pay for it, or we'll pay for it when next time we go and do some work there. So that's
Now
the
they're
question.
doing
I think that's gonna be closer to town, I don't think it goes.
Well, whatever. But they're doing that, they're doing that right as well.
Yeah,
They're not just doing that. Nancy said, no, they're
Yeah.
doing the rest of our areas.
it certainly makes sense, I mean, there's that weird gap, so yes.
Yeah,
I remember them asking when the area was standard
right.
and kind of saying.
It's just,
Yeah.
it just links it, I mean, it's not that connectivity has to all be green and,
Right.
and wood chips, you know, it could be something. There's the other aspect, just as you're thinking or looking at things of walking trails versus bike trails. And there's bike and BMX, which they talk about, which is a bit different, but I don't know whether it would be an issue. I think mostly they're looking for, walking chairs. And probably parking and restrooms, you know, trailheads and things like that. And more bottle fillers and, right, those are the time, you'll see those, in between the time. What else, anything else that? So, are you gonna carry the torch for Wilson, you know, the.
I'll put in that I'll put in that thing, and then when we kick it over, I'll make a note, like, you know, for the environmental commission to
Formulate it.
yeah.
Over, yeah. And if you see something, you can drag it in.
Yes.
Yeah. Good. Anything else? No, we're gonna try different AIs to see what happens. Make them compete against each other, you know, say, hey. So how you get the contract, I can't shoot it, that's what they're, whatever, say. There you go. All right, any other, discussion for that? Thank you.
One thing I do notice, and Denise, I'm not sure if this is for you, but on the Bernardsville, borough website, the planning board meetings don't show up on the homepage, like you have to find them in the calendar.
No, not in the calendar. No, if you go on, so there, we had to make a change as to how they were being put on the website.
Okay.
So. If you go on the planning board page, the older applications are listed if you scroll down to the bottom of the page. And there is a notice there saying all applications received after, I believe, October 1st. You have to click on a button on either the right or left side of the screen, and they're there.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about something else, so like if you go on the home, I know it's hard to see, in the town calendar, they'll have like the council meetings and things like
Board
that.
adjustment?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah, ours don't get listed.
Yes, they do. What do you mean? What doesn't get listed? The agenda?
No, the meetings
The
themselves.
meetings themselves, so if you go on the homepage for bernardsville.gov, on the right-hand side is the town calendar. And for some reason, the planning board meetings don't get listed. And then
Receiver.
well, I just wanna make,
But if you go on the calendar for each month, they're listed.
yes, and so that's an inconsistency.
Page. I
They're
don't know.
not showing in the summary schedule.
Yeah, I
Page schedule.
check into that, I don't know. What it is, I don't know if they were. Do you happen to know if they were there in the past?
They were last year.
They were.
Yeah.
They're, we're actually looking at possibly moving to a different website. Company, so there have been some problems, I don't know if that has to do with it or not, but I'll check with Anthony.
Okay, yeah, it can be, they need feedback. Okay. Just let Denise know periodically, just let her know what progress you're making, just so she can be aware of what's happening or not happening. Okay, so, let's stop that section for discussion. Okay. So board reviews, you have, this request at, Anderson Hill Road. Just a minor subdivision, just a lot line adjustment, right?
Just a lot line adjustment, the applicant owns both lots.
Yeah, and they're both in the same zone, basically, right? It's not one of those crazy ones.
No, thankfully.
Okay. All right, so that's coming up. No visitors, no executive session.
No, no meeting. I think everybody's aware of the decision.
Okay, then we're adjourned.
For next meeting, yeah, no, exactly, 2 weeks. Thursday.
Well, you're.